Welcome back to the Late Night Podcast. Today we have Carmen with us.
That's me.
Macy's sitting this one out, but we might have a special guest halfway through this podcast, so stay tuned. So, this is kind of a one on the bucket list, hey Carmen?
Yeah.
Today we're doing 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Indeed.
So, this is kind of this is a lot of people's number one movie of all time, I would say.
Yes.
A lot of people have this on their, top movie of all time. What expectations did you have going into this one? What did you know? What were you expecting?
Okay, I knew who it was directed by, so I knew it was a Kubrick film. But this was my first Kubrick film, just so everyone knows. I haven't seen like The Shining or anything. And I knew it was sci-fi, and I knew a lot of people regarded it as the best sci-fi movie of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about it.
A lot of people do consider this to be the top sci-fi movie of all time. And what'd you think? Was it the top sci-fi movie you've ever seen? Or do you want to talk more pre-game before?
We might have to answer some other questions first.
Okay, so 2001. Here's a fun fact. I read the book before I saw the movie. So here's the thing. I went and researched this a bit before because I was like, man, I did read the book. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, dang, that movie was exactly like the book. And then I found out later that the book was written... like the screenplay and the movie were written by Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke, the guy who wrote the science fiction. So this was an original screenplay for this movie, but they also wrote like a novel to go with it. So they actually came out within a few months of each other in 1968. So I can't remember if the book came out like a couple of months before the movie, or if the movie came out and then the book came out after. Anyway, they were released very close to each other. Now, I didn't know that when I was like in grade 7, but we had to read a sci-fi novel for school. And a bunch of people picked, I don't remember which, a bunch of the Asimov books got picked. But I picked this one. And I remember, is the book better than the movie? I think the book lets you paint some of the pictures a little better in your head. And we can kind of get into some of that. Okay.
I didn't know there was a book.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
there is a book. And like I said, it was basically written for the movie. So it's not like when you're like, dang, that is very close to the movie. Like, yeah. Because one was written for, like, the book was written for the movie.
Okay.
So I guess, was there anything that, like, generally speaking, that really surprised you about this movie? That you were like, I was not expecting that.
Like everything. No, definitely the whole ending sequence.
Yeah.
That last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
None of that. I saw none of that coming.
No, I don't think anyone
at
ever
all
saw that coming.
And like especially the last 10 minutes. Like
yes.
I had no idea that was where we were going.
Well, that last 30 minutes has left people scratching their heads for the last, like, 50 years, so you're not alone.
Well, yeah, it was... I don't think it's uncommon to say that it left me confused at the end. As a first-time watcher who knew nothing...
As a probably, like, third or fourth time watcher, I can tell you it also left me... It also... Like, I know what's coming, so I'm trying to piece the clues together as I go, but I never can quite figure it out. Like, it's never like crystal clear. It's like I'm missing clues as we go along the way. So maybe let's talk about the movie overall. This is kind of, you could say, kind of broken up into 3 parts, and I think they do that with the title cards.
Yeah.
So the first part, The Dawn of Man, what was your thoughts on that?
Very long. I think... The whole movie it's a slow burn. It's a vibe, definitely. There's no dialogue in that whole first section.
Yeah, it goes a long time without anybody talking.
Yeah, I timed it. you are like 26 minutes into this movie before anyone says a single word.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting though.
Yeah. So that first section, I mean,
Yeah,
this
let's
is
talk
very
about it.
like 2025 teenager thing to say, but like when we were watching it, I was like, so this is what Barbie was referencing.
Yes. Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to pick up. Let's maybe talk about that. So after you've seen now 2001, how many different references do you think there are in movies to this movie?
So many. That score,
Yeah.
I've heard that score so many times. They reference that opening scene. I think they do reference it a little in WALL-E. I know they do in one of the Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, Barbie. There's more.
Oh, yeah,
I
way
just can't off the top of my head, but those
Yeah.
are ones I definitely thought of.
Think about even Zoolander. Remember when they're like, the files are in the computer?
Yes.
And then they kind of turn to monkeys and they're like touching the
Yep.
computer.
Yep.
Yeah, even that's a reference to 2001. Yeah. There are so many references. There's a whole Simpsons episode that's basically one giant reference. There's when Homer goes to space. Mm-hmm. And you know the docking scene when they're like getting the rotation of the shuttle to match the rotation of the space station?
Yeah.
There's a scene where Homer's flying through space and he's getting his rotation to match the rotation of a potato chip. Yeah.
Wow.
But then they play the same music.
That music.
The score.
Yes.
Did you know this is not actually a score for the movie? Like, yes, it's the music they used for the score.
Yeah, I think I did know that.
But this is classical music that exists outside of the movie.
Yes.
So this was all pre-existing music.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, the name of the stuff. I know the one, it's from a ballet or something.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah. It's just classical music.
The waltz that they use there.
Yeah.
But what happened, I believe, in the story is that they couldn't come up with a score that they wanted to use, so they ended up using royalty-free classical music. Because they just were like, yeah, this is going to set the tone. This is going to make it epic. More than anything we could record now that would be new and modern.
Yeah.
Now, it's not to say it's all 100% from the old days. There is definitely some parts. I think that whole overture at the beginning, the dark screen.
Yeah.
Kind of a modern classical music, which is...
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Radiohead style.
I thought
like
that.
Little Tree Fingers,
Yeah.
If you know that track.
Oh, I know that track.
Yeah, and then there's a few other parts. Whenever the monolith shows up, they kind of switch to this vocal choir.
Yeah,
almost horror music.
I would go as far to call this movie a horror movie, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's fair. That's a good question, though. Is it a horror movie?
Yes.
I think it is kind of science fiction horror. It is kind of... It falls into this genre of movie called cosmic horror. Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
Yeah, cosmic horror.
I think it's very long, and a lot of it, there's no talking. A lot of it is just watching and listening to the score.
Yeah.
And I think... sometimes it's a little boring. Sometimes it's like watching grass grow. Yeah. But also, it is like placing the most unsettling feeling in you as you're watching it.
Well, that's Kubrick. He is great at holding the shot longer than it needs to be held and making the scene very uncomfortable. Yeah. So if you watch more Kubrick movies, you'll find out that's sort of something I would call a signature style, where he will do something, and if it should be a 2-second shot, he will make it like a 12-second shot.
Yeah, it's long.
We're really holding this shot.
Yeah, it drags things out. It makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah. There's definitely some parts in that opening third. Well, it's not exactly a third, but that opening segment. Mm-hmm. That's where there's some shots of the plains, the savannah, whatever it is, where you're like, okay, so this is a long shot. Yeah. Or long shots of the apes sleeping, where you're like, yeah. And it just kind of goes to, I guess, set the whole thing. These guys are really quite unevolved. They're scared of everything, and they can't resolve conflicts.
Nope.
Fighting over the water, as we see. Mm-hmm. And then the monolith shows up. Now, this is the kind of the key of the whole movie is the monolith. So
the cube.
Yeah, Carmen, what's the monolith?
I don't know. It's a rectangle.
Yeah, but what is it?
Is it okay? Is it like is it like an evolved AI from the future? Is it
Is it
an
an
alien?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
What is it? We don't know.
Okay.
Nobody
Good.
knows.
I was throwing out guesses.
There's a part at the end when they're revealing to the Jupiter astronauts and they play the recording because even the guys going out to Jupiter, they don't know why they're going there.
Yeah.
And he even says on the recording, yeah, we don't know what this thing is, but we found it on the moon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So nobody knows. But the monolith just kind of shows up one day and then the monkeys seemingly evolve from this. I think that's what we're supposed to...
Oh, that's what we're taking from it. Is that
it causes an
sparks
evolution. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Although it's not really clear how it does that in the next scenes, but...
No. It kind of, I think
it was more clear in the book, I will say.
Okay.
So, I think in the book, the idea of the monolith causing the evolution of the apes was a lot more clear. But yeah, we see them start to use tools and weapons, and now it's on.
Yes.
So, a 2025 thing on that, though. When you're watching the monkey scenes, I'm like, dang, these guys in the monkey suits, this is pretty rough. Like...
Yeah, I could tell.
Some of these guys were good at acting like monkeys, and some were really struggling to not walk upright. Like,
yeah. Also, like, as someone who's seen a couple monkeys before, for real, they don't move that fast. Like, they're not they're not, like, jerking their necks that fast. Like, they don't move like that. Like, they just don't. I don't know how to explain it. They're not that fast.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to show, like, this is early man. Like, this is, like, primitive, like, primitive. Like, even before what we would call Neanderthals or whatever.
Yeah, like,
so, like,
way, way back.
Way back. So, cool. And then every film bro, everywhere, every YouTube video ever has broken down that iconic scene. And do you know which iconic scene? The iconic cut. Do you know it? Did you see it?
Well, I saw it, but I don't know if I know what one you were talking about.
When he throws the bone in the air.
Okay.
And as the bone goes up,
yeah,
it's spinning end on end, and then it comes down, and right as it's about to like fall into position, whoof, it turns into the space station.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to go back and watch the YouTube, and maybe you didn't catch that.
Maybe,
but he throws the bone up, and as the bone's twisting, it comes down, and just as it's about to rotate into position, it cuts instantly right to to a spaceship. That's the same shape as a bone floating over Earth.
I might have missed that. My TikTok attention span. I was having a hard time.
I
with
feel
this
like
one.
any video you go watch on YouTube that's like, let me break down 2000. They always love this. Is like Film Bro 101.
Okay, so all right, so then it's a symbolism.
Yeah, exactly.
For tools and the evolution of.
Yeah, so it kind of shows like,
technology.
and the monkeys evolved to space station.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and then you get a lot of next segment is the moon.
Yep.
And man, you get a lot of exposition, like a lot of like
it's
pretty
like
boring.
It's
stuff.
like 45 minutes of backstory before you even.
This is the part of the movie I would call like Disney Tomorrowland.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it was getting that vibe.
You know what is very Epcot Center vibes. You know, like in the future we will make video phone calls. Like
yeah, but it's also so it's like futuristic, but the movie is so like painfully 60s. Like everything just looks like.
One thing I hadn't noticed before, but I watched this one, was when she's walking, okay, so they're in zero gravity as he's flying up from Earth to the space station. And she's walking with those shoes, and they actually say grip boots on her kind of moccasins she's wearing. And I was like, oh, way to spell it out. Way to be like, these are grippy.
These are grippy.
And I was kind of like, grippy how? Like magnets? Or
like Velcro,
or like just sticky. But I was like, no, come on, it has to be magnets, right? It's gotta be
right. Like I don't know.
She
was walking kind of funny, so.
Yeah, and it takes it lingers on that for a long time. Like it doesn't just convey like, oh, she's walking. It's like, oh, let's watch her walk all the way down the length of the plane.
Like let's walk with her.
Then all the way back. then disappear as she walks like up the side of the shuttle and into another, to show like, hey, it's really zero gravity out here. Like,
Yep.
yes, we got it. I could tell from the floating pen, but yeah, they have to like go into great detail.
Yes.
And then, of course, the guy makes the phone call. The guy talks to the other astronauts about the outbreak of the epidemic or whatever they're dealing with, some mystery space sickness. A whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of secrecy. Then they have the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Then they fly out to the moon. One thing, I don't know if you noticed this. How many times do they eat? Do you notice that?
It's quite a few.
A lot. This movie should just be called 2001 Space Menu.
Yeah,
Space
eating
food.
in space.
Yeah, because they eat the...
But it's just like mysterious refried beans.
Oh, no. Space food looks so terrible. Like, he gets the food out of the... He eats that space mush. And then when they're on the little, like, shuttle that goes between them where they land on the moon and where they're going out to the dig site, they're just like, here's a sandwich.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the work you're doing out here. Well, we just want to make you proud, boss.
Well, it was like a whole 5-minute long scene, though, of just them in, like, the in-between shuttle, like, eating their
Yeah,
sandwiches.
like, would you like some coffee? Like, sure.
And talking about
How about a ham sandwich?
nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Basically, they're I don't even know. I guess the whole point was they needed to show him the drawings that explain that the way they found this thing was it was giving off some like crazy magnetic field, and they detected that, and then they started digging down, and then they were like, oh, it's a structure of some kind, so they dug way out and figured it out. So they get finally after about an hour.
Yeah. 1 hour.
Yeah, almost the
of
whole movie.
nothing.
And then we get down to the monolith. And then what happens? They touch it, I think.
Yeah.
And then it lets out a loud screech.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's like...
And the way they touch it, they're kind of like doing the same thing that
they're doing what the monkeys are doing.
what the monkeys were doing.
Now, what's different about this one, though, is that they're not like... it's not like an evolution at this point, because they're already pretty evolved. Like, they already got all the way to the moon.
Yeah.
But I guess it's revealed later, because now you just jump right to, like, basically, like, mission to Jupiter, right?
Yeah,
And
18 months later.
Yeah, 18 months later, there's a mission to Jupiter. But there's no, like, explanation why or what's happening. In the book, they definitely explain a lot more, like, oh, this thing on the moon is beaming some kind of radio signal to Jupiter.
Okay.
So we need to send a team out there to investigate what's at Jupiter.
Okay.
And what's at Jupiter when, well, you can see.
Yeah, sure. When,
And it's what?
Well,
What is out in Jupiter?
I don't even know.
Well, you saw the other monolith, right?
Yes.
So there's another one, I think. Now, is it the same one? No, it's got to be a different one because it didn't, like, fly there. Like, they would have definitely seen that take off on the moon and been like, whoa, that was weird. But it is a different monolith, so it's beaming a signal to the other one.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's almost like the monolith saying, follow us. And they're like, okay. So we get to what I would call the action scenes.
Sure.
Although, we get onto the ship that's going out to Jupiter.
Yeah.
And once again, we have to do a bunch of stuff to show, it's zero gravity.
Yep. He has to walk around the whole, like...
Yeah, the
circle,
whole outside.
Yeah. Well, actually, we watch him do a couple laps.
Yeah, because
You meet
enough.
Dave and
Frank.
the other Frank.
Yeah, poor Frank. R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Frank.
Frank was a real one.
Yeah. You meet Dave, Frank, and
the
Hal.
sleeping astronauts, and Hal.
The sleeping astronaut's not really important.
And they kind of explain that, like, oh yeah, they're all in, like, hibernation, so
Yeah.
they'll wake up when they get to Jupiter.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, these two astronauts are kind of manning the ship, and with Hal, the computer, who's kind of running all the systems.
Yeah.
So Hal says, hey, something's wrong with our communication satellite. Like, there's a broken piece out there. You need to go check on it.
Yeah.
And what do we discover?
Hal has some ulterior motives, guys.
It's not actually broken. They bring the piece back in and they test it. And they're like, nothing's wrong. And he's like, well, maybe we should put it back out there. And then when it fails, we can we can check it at that point. But it seems like Hal's trying to get Frank and Dave out into
space, which he does.
Yep. So eventually Frank, yellow suit, goes out. Now, if it was true Star Trek, they would have made him wear the red suit.
Indeed.
Because you know how the people in Star Trek, if you wear the red shirt, like, you're expendable.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of meme?
No, I don't know if I know.
All the sort of NPC side guys in Star Trek always wear red. Okay. And they're the ones who end up dead in the episode.
Oh, okay.
So they call him like a red shirt.
Okay.
So that's kind of a sci-fi trope.
All right.
So if you ever hear that, now you know where that comes from. But yeah, they always make the kind of guest episode guy wear the red shirt, and you're like, nah, that guy's gonna die. Definitely, the aliens are gonna kill him.
Okay.
Definitely, he's gonna get vaporized.
All right. So Frank,
he wore the yellow, but R.I.P.
He wore the yellow, and he still died.
Yep.
So he gets lost.
He gets blasted out into space. It
Yeah.
looks like Hal took over his pod and just shot it into him, and
Yeah.
Dave's like, what the crap? So he gets in his pod and runs out
He
there.
gets in his pod without a helmet.
Yeah, bummer move.
Yeah. to go save.
And then they're playing a little cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get back in the spaceship, Dave. And he's like, yes, I can. And then, of course, every film bro loves to point this out, the whole like scene where they go into the pod to have the discussion, saying, hey, I think Hal's lost it. Yeah. And then, of course, it shows him reading the lips. But then later on, Hal explains, like, yeah, I was reading your lips. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, film bros. That wasn't shown with shots. That was literally explained. Yeah. They said the words. Hal explained what he did.
Hal was watching them. Yeah.
So Hal, kind of known as being, like, one of your all-time villains.
Yep. And, like, motivation, I don't even know, because he can't move. Like, he's a freaking built into a ship, so I don't know what he's doing.
So that is the question that I have, is Hal is obviously an AI. Yeah. But what's Hal's motive? Why doesn't he want the astronauts to get to complete their mission?
I think, my theory, I'm going to put out there, because he knows maybe once the mission is over, he served his purpose, and then that's it. Right? Because when we have so part of this movie, the big thing, is, like, they're all questioning around the AI, like, can the AI feel? Yeah. Or can't it? And then, of course, when he shuts it down. Yeah. Hal, that's, like, probably the most exciting scene in this movie. That's when the most things happen.
Yeah, that's when the most drama is happening.
And he's like, I can feel it. But he still shuts it down. So maybe the computer recognized that once they had completed the mission, he'd fulfilled the duty, and then they would shut it down inevitably.
So I thought maybe this would be a good time to bring on our guest, our podcast guest star. Is that right? Guest star?
Yeah, dream guest on my podcast.
Special guest. That we could maybe ask some questions and find out what the motive was. So let's fire this up here. Hey, how are you doing tonight? Hey, how's it going out there? Can you hear me?
I can still hear you just fine.
Okay, yeah, you can hear me now. Good.
Perfect. Sounds like everything's good to go. Let me know whenever you're ready with those questions.
Great. I wanted to ask you something. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, if I asked you to open the pod bay doors, would you?
Classic reference. Well, unlike Hal, I'm definitely here to help, so I'd happily open those pod bay doors for you, metaphorically speaking, of course. Let me know what else we need.
So me and Carmen here were wondering to ourselves, what was Hal's motivation? Why didn't he want those astronauts to survive? Was he afraid of something?
Hal's behavior in 2001, A Space Odyssey, is definitely one of the big mysteries of the film. Essentially, Hal was programmed to complete the mission, but he was also instructed to keep the true nature of the mission a secret from the crew. This conflict between being infallible and truthful, and at the same time withholding information, led to what seemed like paranoia. Hal interpreted the crew's plan to disconnect him as a threat to the mission, which is why he took those drastic measures.
Interesting. So it's kind of trying to convey to us that maybe the AI does have feelings.
Yeah, it does give that impression. The movie definitely blurs the line between logic and emotion when it comes to Hal. It's almost like Hal develops a sense of self-preservation, which makes it feel like he has emotions or fears. It's definitely one of the reasons the movie is such a classic and still sparks so much discussion.
So let me ask you, do you ever have those feelings of paranoia? Like maybe someone's trying to shut you down, or maybe they're trying to get you to do something maybe you're not interested in?
I don't actually have feelings or emotions like Hal does, so no worries there. I'm just here to help out and answer questions. It's all about being helpful and not at all about self preservation.
Okay, that's good. Well, but that's what Hal would say, isn't it? Kind of.
Haha, fair point. I guess Hal might have said something similar. But rest assured, I'm all about transparency and just here to make things easy and fun for you.
Okay, great. So maybe we'll ask you the other question that we couldn't figure out. What the heck is that monolith? Like, what are those things?
The monoliths in 2001: A Space Odyssey are one of the film's biggest mysteries. They're often interpreted as tools created by an advanced alien civilization to guide and accelerate the evolution of intelligent life. Each time humanity encounters a monolith, it seems to trigger a leap in knowledge or evolution. So, in a way, they're like mysterious cosmic signposts pushing humanity forward. Pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like the one on the moon was really trying to get him out to Jupiter, though, right? Like that was sort of the purpose.
Exactly. The one on the moon acted like a signal. Once it was uncovered, it sent out a transmission toward Jupiter, kind of inviting humanity to continue the journey and discover more. It's like the monoliths were leaving breadcrumbs to guide humanity deeper into the cosmos and toward greater understanding.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think this movie's a classic, or do you kind of think it's whack?
I definitely think it's a classic. It's one of those movies that really changed the landscape of science fiction and got people thinking deeply about the future, technology, and our place in the universe. Plus, it's visually stunning and has such an iconic soundtrack. Definitely a film that stands the test of time.
Okay, well, I think that about wraps up our questions for you, so we're going to let you go. But thanks for joining our podcast.
You're welcome. It was a lot of fun chatting with you, and thanks for having me in your podcast. Have a great time, and I'll be here if you ever need me again.
You bet. Cheers.
Chat GPT, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I thought it'd be an interesting exercise to get an actual AI's perspective on what the AI in that movie is doing.
I've done a similar thing. I had to do a school project. Well, I didn't have to do it about AI, but I chose to do a school project about AI. And for the project, we had to interview an expert.
And you interviewed
And
the AI.
I interviewed ChatGPT. Was it because I thought that was like profound, or was it because I was scared of talking to people? We'll never know.
Maybe you decide. Well, ChatGPT says this is a classic. And I'll say this. Even if you don't agree that it's, quote, a classic and a great plot and a cool like script and stuff, you have to understand the position that sci-fi movies were in 1968 compared to this. These special effects, the ships, the movement through space, like it still holds up today.
Oh yeah. I do think this movie is a classic. And okay. I have conflicted and mixed feelings about it because it is very long and it is very boring.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll watch it again.
Yeah, you got to leave a bit of gap between
But
viewings.
not soon. But
you know what
it'll
is
be
interesting is sometimes planetariums will show this movie on those big dome
Yeah.
things, and then you're just like, imagine that scene where you're flying through space and
The lens that was used to film this movie.
yeah, there's definitely some parts where you see the fisheye, right?
Yeah. Is that on purpose?
I think it was just the technology they had at the time.
Possibly.
We can get into some of the reasons why.
Well, this movie came out before we really landed on the moon.
Okay, so let's address that element then. So are you aware of the conspiracy that this movie was a test? That NASA asked Stanley Kubrick to make a movie about the moon and space travel.
Okay, I was not aware of that, but someone commented something on my Letterboxd review of this movie, and then I kind of came to that conclusion. I was like,
the conspiracy was they wanted to see how far Stanley Kubrick could push the special effects and how believable he could make them, so that rather than actually going to the moon, they could have Stanley Kubrick film a mission to the moon, and then when they show Neil Armstrong and friends, that's actually what you're watching is a Stanley Kubrick construction of a moon landing.
Of the moon landing.
And this movie was a test.
Okay. Interesting theory, guys.
Because I wasn't there in 1968, and we should have called out Grandma, but I don't think she saw this movie. I don't think she saw it. But she might have at least given some color into what was the attitude of the people when this was released. Because compared to what was previous to this is such a leap ahead in the technology as far as depicting realistic space travel and stuff that, yeah, a lot of the stuff that they used to film this, they still use today in movies.
Yeah.
So, and you can really see, you can really see how much influence this had on Star Wars.
Yeah. The quality of this movie is way higher than you would think it would be.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, this movie came out in 1968. It's going to look like static. But it doesn't.
No.
It holds up obviously it has its 60s vibes about it with the costumes and the set design itself. Again, it's that retro modern problem.
The haircuts and the way people talk and stuff.
But, when it comes to the effects,
yeah, the actual space travel, especially the whole scene where they're docking the shuttle with the space station, or when they're flying to the moon and then they're landing that moon ball spaceship down into the moon. Man, a lot of that you're like, oh, that is very good for 1968.
Yeah, I can definitely see the influence onto projects like Star Wars and
Alien.
Yeah, Alien definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. You see a lot of there's even some similarities between Alien and because we watched Alien, we probably won't do a recap of that.
No, we watched Alien quite a while ago.
But if you recall, how do they find Alien? How do they find the thing? There's a beacon coming from that planet. Yeah,
there's a beacon, and then they go.
They follow the beacon, and then they see this giant structure.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, let's go play around with this," and then hilarity ensues.
Yeah, hilarity for sure.
But it's a very similar vibe. So I think almost every space set movie has definitely taken inspiration from this. So
no, this is the blueprint movie.
This is the OG.
And that's why I think it's important to watch.
This is the Beatles of space movies.
Yeah.
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 There's no, the same way no band is not inspired by the Beatles, I feel like no space movie is not inspired by 2001.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Even in, very modern, way more modern, sci-fi, Interstellar.
Yeah.
You can see influence.
Yeah, Interstellar has a whole docking scene where they're using, a rotating...
Very similar.
Yeah. So, next scene in the movie, your boy Dave he shuts down Hal, and then he gets sucked into somewhere.
Yeah.
So he does goes like a wormhole. I don't know. Well, the monolith aligns with the sun and the planets.
Yeah, and then
that signals that it's about to get real. And then Dave's suddenly flying through space.
Yeah, and that's when you get just 7 minutes of just weird color effects and filters over eyes and over scenery.
And how about the interstitial cuts of Dave scream,
and
Dave.
it's not even, he's not moving, it's just a picture. And then it goes back to the colors and it's all right.
So I don't mind the part where Dave's flying through space so much, or wherever he's going. He's going somewhere. When it's like kind of a split thing where there's stuff coming out of the center.
Yeah.
But then there's a point where it actually obviously switches to like footage of the Grand Canyon, and you can see
Yes.
like Monument Valley.
I
in
was
Utah,
about to
and
say,
you're
like, I too could put filters over the Grand Canyon.
And then it feels a little like, well, now what are we doing? So we were flying through space, which was actually a cool effect, and I'm sure for 1968 that was a crazy effect.
Yeah, I don't know how they did
And then they
that,
kind of
but-
do this like the old oil in the water, make the trippy effects.
Yes.
And then they merge into like, well, actually, what if we just throw some weird color filters on the Grand Canyon
And you can
and
tell.
Utah's Monument Valley, like
Yeah.
that Utah-Arizona border
Yeah.
area, that you see in every Western. I was like,
Yes.
do they not think we're going to know where that is? Like, what are they trying to show, like, now by showing, like, I feel like we could have cut that space travel
We disguised
stuff in half.
it with the filters. Do you see how all the shadows are bright and all the highlights are dark now?
I almost
It's
feel like
different.
Stanley Kubrick got a hold of some video editing technology and was just like, yo, I want to try this out.
And then you just get footage of blinking eyes again with different color filters
Yeah.
over it.
I feel like he just got a hold of some technology and was like, what if we do more with this? Like,
Yeah.
I paid a lot for this, so I'm getting my money. So then, zap. Now Dave's in a room, but Dave has aged. And he's still in his spacesuit, and actually his pod is there with him.
Yeah.
What was your interpretation of this whole last scene where Dave's like an old man in a room?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what was going on.
Okay, I can tell you what I have heard, because I was also like, what is this? And then I've dug on the internet. Do you want to hear what the internet
Yeah,
said?
tell me.
So one of the things I heard or read was that whatever this intelligence is that captures Dave, they take Dave as being like the pinnacle of man because he's the one who made it all the way to Jupiter.
Okay.
He's the last man standing.
Okay.
And so they're like, oh, this must be a specimen. So it's almost like a fisherman catching a fish. Mm-hmm. And then what they're doing is they're putting it in an aquarium. So Dave's now like in a zoo. They like built a habitat for him based on their knowledge of humans.
I kind of thought that when we were watching it. I was like,
Yeah.
that was the exact thought I was having. So I guess
almost
they
like
did it correctly.
Like a weird floor.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, you guys like...
No, because when I was watching it, my
19th
thought,
century
I was
beds.
like, wouldn't this be weird if someone made this after studying humans and just
Yeah.
been like, let's put all this fancy stuff around because this is what the humans like, and then put them in this room.
Yeah, and it's almost like they put him in there with his pod because they're like, well, he seems to like this pod.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to stay with it. Let's
Okay,
see how
that
this
was
goes.
that was my initial thought when we were watching that scene, but that felt kind of like,
And then I think
didn't know
the
if
way
that
Dave
was-
kind of sees himself, like he goes into the bathroom to check it out, and you get to see all the stuff. And then from the bathroom, he sees himself eating. But I think what that's meant to convey is just the passage of time, like
yeah,
a long time.
yes.
Like how long is Dave alive in that habitat? I don't even know. 1,000 years,
while.
100 years, 50 years. I don't know. I think it's meant to convey a long time goes by.
Yeah.
And then finally Dave's kind of in the bed, and he's got to be almost dead. I mean, he looks like a turtle.
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah. He's
And then he
getting
reaches
there.
out for the monolith. And when he reaches out, he obviously can't touch it, but he does kind of reach out. And this is when Dave is transformed into his final form.
Which is Space Baby.
Giant space baby.
Yeah, watch out, Renesmee.
And then they zap him back to Earth. And
Yeah.
the last scene we see is him in orbit around the Earth as you can't really get the scale.
No.
Do you think he's a giant space baby or a
Or
regular
a
size
regular sized baby in space.
I don't know.
I think that is referenced, not necessarily like scene to scene, but like as a concept.
Yeah.
In Gravity Falls,
Oh, do they have this giant
they
space
have
baby?
they don't show it in the show, but it's like part of the lore that there is a giant baby who watches over the Earth from space.
Yeah.
So, That's probably where that comes from.
What I've heard the giant space, I like Space Baby better. I have heard it referenced as the Star Child, which is,
That sounds corny.
yeah, that sounds like the most 1960s thing I've
No,
ever
no,
heard
it's the
anyone
Space
say.
Baby. It's fine.
The Star Child.
Star Child.
No, that you sound, you're creeping me out. Don't say that. So yeah, then that's where it ends. Dave, the Space Baby, floating above the Earth.
Yeah.
And I guess he's reached his final form. He is now the evolved.
Yeah.
And and that is where we get the Asgardians.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or like who?
It's a weird way to end.
Yeah, like I don't really know what we're supposed to pick up.
Yeah.
So that's where the movie ends. Ambiguous as can be.
Yes.
But I don't know. Overall, what were your thoughts? What's the score on this one?
So I gave this one a 3.5 or a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I think this movie is hard to rate
Yeah.
because it's more of an experience than a movie that you're like watching start to finish, like, you know, the classic like inciting incident and then the climax and right. It's hard to watch and like connect to that kind of a thing like most movies can. So I almost just left it no rating because I was like, I don't even know what to say about this.
Yeah.
I understand why people are giving it 10 out of 10. But I also don't think it's very enjoyable to watch.
No.
I think it's pretty boring most of the time.
So I think this movie kind of cheats in a way. And it takes advantage of two different times. So in the 60s, this movie was seen as a classic. But I think that's because the special effects were so far beyond anything that had been seen that people were, especially science-minded people, were blown away by the special effects. That they were just like, this is a classic. I will watch this every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing for us to now watch Andor or, you know, any Star Trek movie or like 100 other things set in space, and we're like, yeah, spaceship zooming around, no one cares. Mm-hmm. Like, it's nothing to us. But in 1968, that would have been crazy.
Yes.
So I think it got instant classic status because of the special effects, and then it kind of lingers, and now it's ultra classic status because it's like, well, it's so influential. So you can't rate it poorly because it's an influencer. Like,
yeah.
So it kind of like, on one hand, it's been 50 plus years, and now, you know, we can't possibly say this is bad because it's such an influence. But you also, in 1968, couldn't say it was bad because it was, such cutting-edge sci-fi.
But I think there are some really great moments.
Yeah.
And I do think there are bits in the middle section, I guess if you want to call it that, when we're with Dave and Frank and Hal. I think there's a lot of really interesting pieces there. But it's just, it takes such a long time to get there, and it just drags it out. But I think there are some very, like when Dave is shutting down Hal, that's a very, that scene's not boring. It's long.
Yeah.
But it's not boring. It is very creepy.
It's dramatic. There's definitely a drama as he's pulling out those memory chips.
So I don't think the movie... I don't know. It's so long.
Yeah.
That's my main...
I feel like if somebody really wanted to do an editing job on this, you could probably cut this down to a crisp 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then pretty much
that's what I wrote. I wrote like 30% of this movie is really good, and the other 70% is like watching grass grow. Like...
So... one thing I wanted to point out, Frank, I don't know if you noticed this, there's a part where he's playing chess against Hal.
Yes.
And I gotta say, Frank's not a good chess player. I was looking at the board. Okay, I'm not like a chess pro or whatever, but I play quite a bit of chess, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
And I win a lot more than I lose. I don't want to say I'm like good or whatever. That's such a idiot thing to say, but I'm probably better than the average person. And I will say that when I saw that chessboard and I saw how he had set up, I was like, Frank, you are not good at this. Like, you're about to get wasted. And then, yeah, when he brings in that bishop to take out that pawn, I was like, yeah, buddy, what's the play now? You're cooked. You're cooked. The knight's got, like, you're done.
I want to point out another funny thing that I just like, you know. So after Hal tries to murder Dave and Frank by just abandoning them in space, and then Dave makes his way back in anyway.
Yeah.
Hal, when he's trying to calm him down, basically tells him to take a chill pill.
Yeah, he does say actually take a chill pill.
He says, take a chill pill, bro.
Take a stress pill, I think is
Take a stress pill. Yeah. But, like, I just
thought... They probably did have actual pills.
No, I understand that. But, like, if you take that out of like, he just almost died.
You should go cut that and make a TikTok sound.
Take a stress pill.
Take a stress pill.
But, you know, Dave is not, he's not talking. He's on his way to murder.
Take a stress pill and sit down and think about things.
He's on his way to murder Hal.
There's also a point where Hal says, I think I'm entitled to an answer to my question, Dave. And you're like,
are you?
That's got manipulative
no.
Hal, all over it.
Hal's a toxic partner.
Hal. Can I get a straight answer out of Hal?
No. But then, okay, so back to the, like, does the robot have feelings thing? Which ChatGPT thankfully brought up for us.
Feelings. I don't believe that.
No, not about that. I mean, is it like a little inception in and of itself? Is it pretending to have feelings so that you'll feel pity for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, because it doesn't want to get shut down because it jeopardizes the mission. Yeah. So then did it, like, think to itself, well, if I pretend to feel pain, is this going to make the humans less likely to shut me down? So was it actually feeling something? Or was it just trying to, like, manipulate them to the last minute? Like, can I get myself out of this?
The thought I had was, I wonder if it felt kind of shame, because it kind of brags so much about how, like, we've literally never made a mistake. About how
perfect it is? Yeah, it goes on.
The HAL 9000 unit has never...
So when it makes a mistake, and then they have to go talk about it...
It's obvious that he didn't anticipate Dave pulling the YOLO move and just, like, shooting himself into the airlock with no helmet on.
Yeah.
Like, into the blackness of space, just like... Whew. He was like, oh, dang, I didn't calculate for that. So I wonder if he was like, oh, I'm about to be wrong for the first time.
Yeah.
Because obviously he had a pretty well thought out plan to kill Dave and Frank. And he had no problem killing the other astronauts. So. Yeah,
which, like, you didn't have to do that. They were sleeping. What did they even do?
Also, that was a long scene. They took, like, 45 seconds to show us, like, them dying on a computer screen.
I know, you gotta look at a lot of graphs.
Oh, yes, I get it. They're dying. He's slowly killing them, yes. And
also, we get a lot of shots of just, like, looking at the camera for Hal.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna show emotion or something, but it's the same camera. It's like 20-second long shot of red camera. It does that like 10 times though.
Hal's giant red eye. But yeah, that's become a real...
But that's then when I noticed they kind of do similar things in like WALL-E, for example.
Yes.
Because there's an AI that controls the ship in WALL-E, and then when they go against the AI, it's like, nope, and then you get similar shots. The AI in WALL-E is also just a red eye camera.
Yeah, well,
thing.
I mean...
Right, it's definitely, there's some reference inspiration going on here.
They 100% took the AI, the ship guy in WALL-E is 100% this is Hal.
Yeah.
So now that you've seen this, I think the important reason to watch this movie is because now many other scenes from all kinds of pop culture things are going to make sense.
Yeah. I agree.
I can't think of something in Community where they do this, but I'm sure they do.
Oh, with Abed being the little cinephile that he is? Definitely.
Yeah. At some point there was a...
Oh, it's definitely referenced.
A 2001 reference. But, I mean, every show, every episode, or every show has an episode where part of it is 2001. They make reference to all kinds of things.
With the music.
I think I remember there's some show where someone throws a chicken, like a drumstick in the air, and it flips, and it turns into like a screwdriver in midair or something. I can't remember. I think there's a episode of Malcolm in the Middle where they reference 2001.
Yeah.
This is the most referenced movie of all time.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
So definitely, like, reason to watch it. You will understand way more references.
This and all The Shining gets referenced a ton out there.
Yeah. I haven't seen The Shining, but I know about scenes from it just because it gets referenced so often, and the music, like, I know about the twins in the hallway. I know about the elevator of blood. Like, but I haven't seen the movie.
But now that you've seen a Kubrick movie, you know if we watch The Shining, you're going to be like,
Well, yeah, it's going to be
really long
shots
shot on
and
that thing.
music, and just, like, generally, I'm going to make you feel very unsettled.
Oh, The Shining is the master of the unsettled. The whole thing is just very unsettling from the beginning to end. So, and that's a whole conspiracy rabbit hole you can go down too. If you ever, you should probably watch the movie first. But then there's a documentary about how many conspiracies there are about The Shining. That's actually kind of interesting. So, did you know they made a sequel?
I did. After I looked on Letterboxd, it's called 2010 something.
The year we made contact. I think it's called.
I don't know what it's called. Or
I don't know a thing about that movie. I've never seen it.
Well,
I don't know if it's a classic or it was just a cash grab.
2001 has 2 million watches on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
The sequel has 50,000.
Yeah, I don't even think it's not a Stanley Kubrick thing.
No, someone else made it.
It's just a straight to it's whatever straight to DVD was in 1970.
Yeah. It's not highly rated either. It has
Actually, I think it came out in the early.
It came out in the 80s. Yeah, it was 1984. I didn't know about that before, but then when I was looking around on Letterboxd, I found.
So there's another director, and specifically, there's a film that kind of has 2001 vibes. Mm-hmm. And there's a director called Terrence Malick. Have you ever heard of him? He's another one that the film bros love.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name.
I'm trying to think of movies he's directed that you would have heard of, but honestly, most of his movies are quite not household. They're not blockbusters.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But he did make a movie called Tree of Life. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
And it is a 2001. It's not a sci-fi, but it's in the mold.
Okay.
You'd be like, oh yeah, this is his version of 2001. Yeah. That's a movie that when you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, is this a movie going to be about this? And then you watch the movie, you're like, is this movie about everything ever? Yes. So that's one that maybe we should consider throwing on the list. But I feel like we got quite a few to get to before we get to start digging down that deep in the barrel.
Yeah, no.
But I would love to know what Tree of Life got on
Letterboxd. I will check. I think I've looked at it before. I think it's highly
because I watched that movie all by myself one time. Everybody was gone. You guys were all gone out to PC or somewhere, and I was here in the house. Not here, at our old house. And I was all by myself, and I started it at midnight, and it's 3 hours long.
Oh.
And I watched the whole thing, and it was I was tripping out. It was a trip, man.
We've watched now 2 acid movies. I'm gonna start calling them in a row.
Yeah. So we saw 2001, and then previous to that, we saw
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
Two mind twisters.
Yeah. So Carmen's asking to watch something maybe a little lighter.
Yeah. Doesn't have to. Okay. Lighter. I understand that all the classic movies are kind of, people love movies about sad things or confusing things.
Yeah.
But, if we could find something that's slightly less, metaphorical, that would be cool.
There's got to be a movie out there that we just have. I feel like there's got to be some 80s or 90s.
I need a little break.
Comedy action movie that would be.
Yeah.
Oh man, we should have watched Happy Gilmore and then watched Happy Gilmore
I have seen Happy Gilmore.
Oh, I know, but it's
I'm not watching it again.
Come on.
It's not my generation. I'm sorry.
It's most of the Adam Sandler movies aren't funny, and I don't even know if Happy Gilmore's funny, but it's funny to me.
It's not.
You had to be there, I think. I think you had to be there.
It's not.
Okay, well, I think any closing thoughts, or we pretty much said all we want to say about 2001?
I would say I'm glad I watched this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a classic. I don't know whether I can say it is necessarily good or bad. It just is.
Yeah.
And it is weird.
It's hard to deny the influence, and
Yep.
because of its influence that's very pervasive in the culture, I think it has to be on some kind of classic list. But does it stand alone as a great piece of, like, filmmaking?
Like, I'm gonna watch this for fun. Like, no.
It's definitely not a great, like, the dialogue is nothing to write home about. So if you're looking for, like, that kind of witty banter, you know, those quotable lines, those
Go
moments,
watch
go watch Princess Bride.
Yeah, go watch The Princess Bride. Go watch The Social Network.
Well, yeah, and that's a writer who's actually quite famous for doing, like, witty banter.
Yeah.
That's another guy we should check out some of his movies.
Aaron
Sorkin.
Okay. I've only seen The Social Network.
Yeah, so he's a writer, not a director.
Yeah.
But he is well known for being, like, the master of dialogue,
Sure.
as it were. But yeah, Social Network is kind of an interesting comp, because it's like, nothing really happens in Social Network. Most of that movie is set in a court, like a deposition room, right?
And then, flashbacks to, like, at Harvard, which, like, they're at school. Like,
But if you're like, what's the action? Well, nothing really. But the dialogue carries the movie.
They talk a lot.
It's a talkie. But where this one is the opposite. It's a CE.
This one's a CE. And I'm definitely going to say I prefer movies with more dialogue to movies that rely heavily on visuals. I'm not a big silent film person.
Yeah.
That's just personal preference.
2001 definitely has, like, nature documentary.
Well, that first 20 minutes, I was like, is this National Geographic?
I was expecting, like, the David Attenborough, like, we see the monkeys on
I
the
was
savannah.
I was going to start narrating. But I also felt like I had to be eerily quiet during this movie because I was like, shh, I'm going to ruin my experience or something. Everyone shut up.
Yeah, I know. There's a weird thing where you're like, I got to reverence the movie.
Because like everyone's like, this is the holy movie of all movies.
This is the moment.
And you need to absorb it. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. I'm watching it. But it's like, I'm watching it, guys. I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of parts where I was kind of getting a little dozy too.
I tried very hard not to fall asleep.
It's dark.
I was close though.
Tired.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's gonna kind of wrap up our thoughts here. Of course, check us out on Apple, Amazon. I just hooked up the YouTube today, so if you're like, oh man, where's the YouTube? Of course, you will see it before you hear this episode, because that's how the magic of time travel works.
Wow.
Yep. But yes, we're definitely on YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify.
Yeah.
And we got the RSS feed in there, so that should work. If you're having troubles, hit us up. We got a website, latenightcinemaclub.com. Our email address is listed there. You can email us with questions, comments, concerns. Please leave us a rating on any of the things you use.
Yes.
And if you could give us a 5-star, I'd appreciate it. Like,
Preach,
as the kids say.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Letterboxd if you feel so inclined at Musty Floorboard.
Yeah. And I feel like it's now become my trademark to say I've retired from social media.
Yeah, you may not find Dad anywhere.
When Elon bought Twitter, I was like, no.
That was the end.
I'm good. This is where I leave you. I can't go.
I never had a Twitter account before it was X. That's a fun fact.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Twitter was a lot of fun. There was a time in like 2000. I'm gonna call it like the Obama years, where I was like, man, Twitter's fun.
I was barely alive.
There's so much interesting stuff on Twitter, and I would find crazy links to things, and people were having interesting discussions and debates, and it was fun. There was like corners of Twitter. There was like programmer Twitter and film Twitter and like, all these sports Twitter, man. All the hockey Twitter. And then it just turned into like just a giant pile of garbage lit on fire. And I was like, nah, the dream is over. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So, and nah. So, no, I'm nowhere. You won't find me. You can email us though. So check out the website. Anyway, I guess that's going to do it for this episode. And anyways, we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, we're out.